Yeah, so this one runs pretty bad. Really jerky throttle, poor idle, just all around bad performance. And that P0193 code is a fuel pressure sensor voltage high, and so I'm suspecting that we've got a bad sensor. So let me show you where it lives. Underneath the right valve cover. See a little bit better light. There it is, right there. That's the old one there. You got 3 pins in there and a little connector. You got to take more stuff to get the valve cover actually out of there, but you can get it. You can get the sensor in and out of there with just this much movement here. You know, this will move out a little ways, but and you know, while you're in here, it's not a bad idea to change the inside harness, which is all these wires here, but I'm not gonna do that right now because I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I did a lot of wire checking on the outside doing the pin and wiggle test and did not get anything. And so it takes 1 1/16 wrench to get on that sensor, unscrew it, don't cross thread it, it goes in really easy, and then just kind of snug it in there. You know, and obviously you're gonna have to do some disassembly like the air box and all that to get to it. And you know, you could have some other issues like that wiring harness that's underneath the valve cover, you know, could have an intermittent bad thing. You know, you know, this customer wanted to try and just change the sender, and that's why we didn't do that, and we were hoping for the best. It looks like you know, we've cured the problem of it running, although I got to go back and figure out what's setting off the check engine light still yet. So we'll see. But I will give you a few pointers on a couple of things. 12 millimeters for the bolts. You take this off, you know, to get to that bolt. There's a box back here that has these deals on there. You'll have to loosen it. There's 2 bolts on the left side, 1 on the right. They're little small guys right up there. Couple things like that nut goes on down here to hold the dipstick in there. Them empty holes right there are for these, for the glow plugs. They slide in. They slide in there. They contact the top of the glow plug through. There's a little spring kind of in there. Kind of like a, maybe it's not a spring, I don't know, but kind of like a coil plug on a 5.4 or 4.6 Ford. These little rubber grommets, you know, this slides in there, and this little rubber grommet just kind of press fits in those empty holes I pointed out to you. Just take a little screwdriver, you know, right about there, you know, on the edge of it, and just kind of work it out, you know. And obviously on this end it's got a plug here, so you know, you can take these off, you know. And the reason to do that is just take them off, and you know, because you won't get them lined back up when you go to put the valve cover back in place. And these bolts, when you take them out, you know, you'll sit there and they stay in the valve cover, which some might be like, oh, that's pretty handy, you don't lose the bolts or whatever. But putting it back on, it's kind of a pain in the ass, because you know, you get one side all started and then you get the other. So basically the best thing to do with these is get them all kind of lined up, start each and every one of them all the way around a couple of turns, and when you get them started, then you go ahead and work them down with your fingers, and then tighten them up to torque and all that. I don't know what the torque is. I haven't torqued these yet. I'll look that up, but that's not hard to find. So anyways, that's a couple of pointers there. You know, take the air box off, you know, undo the hose clamp here, which is for that, and that air cleaner just kind of snaps in place here, kind of snaps down in these rubber grommets. It's got these, oops, I'm caught on my light cord, but see, these got these little feet, and it's got these little tabs in there. They kind of it just snaps down in place there, but it's not hard to figure out. You know, a few things to unplug off of there from this air filter sensor, and probably some kind of a mass airflow sensor or something like that. But that's the gist of how to get to this valve cover and get to replace this sensor. It's not easy. They cram so much shit in here, and they cram the engine so far back. This just isn't like working on a 1975 Chevy pickup with a 350 in it. I mean, you can get inside the hood and inside right next to the engine. You used to be able to could sit right here on the fender with your legs down inside of there and work on a carburetor, distributor, whatever. Today's world, that's all gone. They got so much crap crammed in here. But if you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message, and you know. But basically, that's all this video is about. Was replacing that sensor for that P0193 code. Now, and I know some people like the step-by-step videos, you know, showing every little thing that I took apart, but you know, it'd be an hour-long video if I were to do that. So you know, and I think you learn better if you know, figure out this is just basic, you know, that telling you what the code means, what kind of symptoms the pickup truck has, and kind of a general knowledge is, you know, this is where that sensor is located and stuff. But you know, you got to learn and, you know, take stuff apart and doing it when you don't know exactly. I mean, that's how you learn, you know. And a lot of times there's other information you can get if there's something you think you might break. But in here, there's, you know, to get that valve cover off, there's really nothing. There's a couple of bolts in the back side of the valve cover that are just a pain in the ass to get to, and the tool that I used may not be the one. You might have littler hands, and you know, able to get in there with something a hell of a lot easier than I did. You know, I mean, everything's different, so you know, it's kind of pointless to you know, to show a step-by-step deal, and it's, you know, it's hard to hold a phone or a camera while I'm working. So, but anyways, we're gonna get this thing put back together, and you know, see if that code clears and see how it runs.